Okay, to raise an eyebrow. Okay, and so let's say you're surprised by something, or people get surprised by something that they might do this and raise one eyebrow or raise both of their eyebrows, like "Wow" or "What's that?" Right? So we have this expression called that raised some eyebrows, right? In that that would raise some eyebrows in Congress, or that would raise some eyebrows in Japan, right? Or that didn't even raise an eyebrow. Okay, so let's say, for example, um, like, let's say, for example, somebody grew up in a household where from time to time the kids might use some bad language, right? But in that household, it didn't matter that much. But then they go to visit um, a household that they're more strict and maybe more religious, and so the kid uses some bad language, or even starts to smoke a cigarette, and it really raised some eyebrows there, right? So uh, let's say, for example, I've got a few examples, and I'm just going to try to remember them. But like in my part of the U.S., um, if you saw a homeless person laying in the street, you would probably notice it and be, surprised and maybe call for some help. Um, but in San Francisco, that wouldn't even raise an eyebrow, right? Uh, or actually, think I told this story before. Uh, like was in San Francisco and I saw a naked man walking down the street, and it was like it almost didn't even raise an eyebrow there because there's just so much weird stuff happening there. Um, or here's another thing: is like when I went to Japan, you saw on a let's say a weeknight, especially in April, or any Saturday night, you could see drunk people laying in the street, right? Drunk. And there, because that's part of the culture, to just get drunk and then go outside and lay outside of the bar, that doesn't even raise an eyebrow in Japan, right? These people just walk around them. Or, but if that happened in where I grew up, it would raise an eyebrow. Like the people would be talking about it, or the cops would show up and take them home, or take them to a place where they're not like laying outside. Uh, and another thing is like, let's say, for example, if I were in my part of the U.S. in the Midwest, um, if I were to just not be drunk, but just drink some alcohol in the park in the daytime, that would raise some eyebrows. People would be looking down on me. Somebody might call the cops would show up. But in Japan, that wouldn't even raise an eyebrow, especially if a Japanese person was doing it. It's just like no big deal. You can drink just about anywhere, as long as you're not drunk and acting stupid, right? Uh, and I heard this story about some Japanese young people who went to the U.S. to go study abroad. And when they got on this activity bus that was going to, now they were adults. They were adults. So when they got on this activity bus, they had a cooler full of alcohol. And when the bus was going to the city, uh, nearby city, they started drinking on the bus because they thought it was okay, um, because they weren't driving, right? That would be, but that raised some eyebrows in that part of the U.S., right? Things that happen in the more conservative Midwest, uh, that would raise some eyebrows in the Midwest would not even raise an eyebrow in in San Francisco, let's say, or something that would be, let's say, talked about, like, let's say, somebody being gay would be talked about in small town USA, but it wouldn't even raise an eyebrow in San Francisco or Chicago. This is, for example, right? So anyway, we use this expression, raise an eyebrow. And that, we could say, that raised some eyebrows. Or that wouldn't even raise an eyebrow, right? Let's take a look at some examples I can set up here. Okay, raised one's eyebrows, show surprise, disbelief, or mild disapproval, right? So let's say, for example, if I was on a train in Japan and we're drinking some alcohol after work, that wouldn't even raise an eyebrow as long as I wasn't acting stupid, right? Okay. Okay, now this person is talking about children who don't have strict parents, right? Okay, so.
Enough. I can do anything that I want, and they don't even raise an eyebrow.
Talking about permissive parents.
They don't even raise an eyebrow because it's gone so mainstream.
Okay.
Eyebrows when Alibaba's CEO and richest man. So it definitely raised some eyebrows when Alibaba's CEO.
Okay, so this is just, really commonly said, right? So you might hear it in conversation. Well, that raised some eyebrows over there, right? If you're going, even as a professional, let's say if you're going to a conference and you present some idea, you make a presentation about something that is kind of against what people generally think, they would say, wow, that really raised some eyebrows, right? So anyway, I will talk to you on the next idiom.